Hey, so the reason why I'm doing this video is to talk about overcoming. A lot of times we shout too premature. We're talking about we overcame some things, we have conquered some things, we have been victorious in some things, but yet and still we're still going through it. So how have you conquered something that you're still going through? You got to remember the devil plays in many ways. The devil can be right in your face talking about their child and playing right on you, and stuff like that. They don't care how they play. They don't care if they use you, your family, your children, your mama, your daddy, your sister, your brother. They don't care who they use. You're nothing to them. You have no significant value to them. You have no life to them. Your life is insignificant to them because I'm going to be real with you. At the point that I'm at right now, I started to realize that I had suffered years and years and years of abuse and years of being victimized and years of no vindication. I have suffered so much without there being a repercussion. I come from law enforcement, so having worked law enforcement, and in law enforcement they say must create a deterrent, and that's the first thing they ever tell you. You have to create a deterrence. There has to be a consequence. We talk about Samaritan law. Say whether you see or don't see, you know that there is, whatever you do, there's a consequence for your action. But you have to think about what we're dealing with. We're dealing with something that has not had consequences for years. You're dealing with something that has been switching back and forth, saying it's God and it's not God. You're dealing with something that's saying, okay, well, I'm the devil and I'm running things. You're dealing with something that has never ever dealt with their consequence of what they're doing. And you are not skilled enough and not prepared enough. And that's part of the dumb state. We have to allow God to grow us. And I'm going to be real with you. And that's the hardest part, because you're going to go through growing pains. And growing pains is this. I'm going through it. I'm learning from it. I'm educating myself as I go through it. But man, I can't say it don't hurt. I can't say that I'm okay with what I'm going through. I can't say that I'm coping, because for me, I don't even feel like I'm coping at times. I can't say I'm thriving even if God's blessing me, because there's a lot of times I don't feel that I'm thriving. And this is not for me to sit up here and say, okay, well, I'm going through depression or I'm depressed. No. I'm just saying, when the odds are unfair, when you're dealing with situations that's not fair to you, when you're dealing with circumstances that are not fair, that's a lot for one to deal with. And then you're dealing with flamboyancy now, because we have gotten away with this for centuries. So you got to think about it. If something got away with something for centuries, since biblical times, they've been getting away with a lot. Think about how flamboyant that person is. Think about how unrelentless that person would be, because guess what? Unrelentless people says that I have gotten my way for so long that I don't care what, I'm going to still continue to get my way. And you're not an unrelenting person. You're just a normal Joe Blow that says, okay, well, look, I take life as it comes. I do what I have to do to survive. Every once in a while I may thrive just a little bit or have a little bit more than everybody else, but mostly I fly up under the radar. I'm not a threat to nobody. I'm just a normal person. And now you're being faced with threats that's beyond your knowledge and training, beyond your scope of understanding, beyond what you think. And this is where it really cuts deep and hurts deep. When the things that are supposed to protect you are partakers in the things that are hurting you. when the things that are supposed to protect you are partaking in the things that are hurting you. When you realize that there are churches that are partaking in certain activities that they should not be partaking in. When you start to realize that, hey, we do have governments that have been overthrown and there's no more in God we trust. There are multitudes of things that are taking place. And guess what? That was all being done in the shadow realm. A lot of people don't understand. We got two worlds going on. We got the world that we see and the world that we can't see. And what we can't see is usually demonic. What we can't see is usually not good. Every once in a while you'll stumble on a community where what you can't see is godly. And that's a blessing. Thank the Lord for those communities. But when you sit up here and we talk about certain communities, in those communities, a lot of times people are dealing with demonic issues. And you don't know why you're dealing with demonic issues. I remember I've been like listening to Audible lately, and these are faith-based books. I was listening to this one called Cloak of the Light. And the thing about it begins to talk about how this kid goes off to college. He stumbles on the fact that they were being invaded by terrorists. And he stumbles on this information, and he didn't even know that they were being invaded by terrorists. And that's something that, like, I started to deal with in my life. I didn't know that we were dealing with terrorism. I didn't know that we were dealing with people that didn't mean well for us or our surroundings or everyone around us, you know. And then, you know, coming from a certain situation, and now, you know, as a child, we were exposed to certain things similar to this, but then growing into adulthood, I don't know if we dealt with memory loss, I don't know what it was, but we didn't deal with it for a long time. You know, I guess that's that cloak, or that's that shadow that we didn't have to deal with for quite some time. And now, as we go into adults, we're like, okay, we're back where we started. I'm grown, but I'm back where I started. There was a training moment that was lost to me, and now I have to enter into a session of certain things where I should have been more skilled, more technical, more smarter than what others are. But the people that were supposed to train me, I wouldn't say that they felt that. I would just say that I wasn't receiving the way they may have thought that I should have received. Because I feel unskilled. I felt untrained. But I feel that God can sit up there and God can teach you a multitude of things. God can grow you. God can nourish your body, mind, soul, and spirit, where it can take on anything. So that's what I'm going through right now. And then I'm still going through attack. I'm going through this point where there are opportunities given, but I question my surroundings all the time. Because in my surroundings, I see a lot of hurt. In my surroundings, I see a lot of things going on that is unfair. And not just for myself, but for others too. And it's hard for me to bear. Because they want me to bear this weight of abuse and not be a fighter. See, I'm used to, like, if you come at me, I come back, but in this stage, I have to be careful how I come and deal with you, because it's very manipulative, it's very maniacal, and it's very deceptive as well. So you have to be careful. I mean, I kid you not. I never been addicted, like, ever, you know. And now I'm dealing with my family. Family ways are very manipulative. I'm dealing with people wanting control of me. I remember yesterday, kid you not, and this was yesterday, just yesterday. The day before yesterday, I'm sorry. Yesterday I went to work. Day before yesterday, I had to call law enforcement on my dad, my so-called dad. Because for some weird reason, it's not registering to me that he is who he says he is. But I had to call law enforcement on him. And I started to sit up here and realize that my enemies have been playing for quite some time. I told him, usually I pay him $500 plus a month. Sometimes he gets upset. I don't stress about it. He's like, I need help with this. I need $100 extra. I wouldn't really stress about it. I just make that. Whatever. You know, I'm just happy to have a place to stay. I don't really want to cause a problem. I don't really want to cause a burden. And as I'm sitting there, I started to register. I have been taken advantage of by abusers. And it's sad to say that. And the abusers don't want me to have my own anything. And it made sense to me because I'm going to be real with you. I had got, this was during COVID time, and they were sending out checks to us every month, I believe. And I had gotten, I think, 3 checks. One was $600, one was $1,400, and one was $1,200. Out of those 3 checks, I began to build. And I went and I moved into an apartment out of those 3 checks. The first one, I sat up there and I prepared, which was the $600. The second one, I think, was $1,200, and I bought the apartment with that one and the check that I was working for. And the third check, I went and I paid my rent up ahead. And I paid it up at least for 2 months or a month ahead. I think 2 months ahead. So I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. And after that, I started noticing that my checks was being stolen out the mailbox. But it was an older woman image that they were showing me. But God was showing me a man behind me. God kept showing me, he's like, no, that's not an older woman. That's a man attacking you. That older woman isn't attacking you. It's a man attacking you. So I would call law enforcement and I would tell them, hey, there is issues going on with my mail where it's being stolen and stuff like that. And I'm going to tell you what the message was that came to me. They've been stealing money from people in the government for a long time. Just honestly, that's the message that came to me. And I'm like, nah, man, why would they be doing this to fund alternative agendas? To fund alternative agendas. What you don't know about, you can't correct, you can't do anything about it. And I was like, okay. I have to now, this morning, go speak with a person this morning about some other stuff because I came into, during these times, I came into the fact that our 911 system was compromised, our emergency system was compromised. These people had already embedded in the system. They had complete control of the area. They had the ability to do a blackout, not just with people, because they had, I don't know if you guys know this, when prisons was going on, they had like the blackout boxes for real killers, like these offenders that will actually kill you. They would put blackout boxes in them, and a blackout box job was just render the inmate unconscious for long enough for them to take control of the inmate. These devices they actually put into people, actually put into ordinary citizens to black them out whenever they feel like it. And a lot of this I came into an acknowledgement of. A lot of the stuff that I began to realize that was taking place, and I'm like, hold on, wait a minute. I didn't know, because the blackout box can be removed. A lot of people don't know that either. Like, the blackout box can be removed once the inmate is entered back into society. But I was like, I didn't know all of this was going on. Why was I educated? And I'm starting to realize that this is stuff that was going on in the shadows the whole time while we weren't being affected, while we weren't being bothered. All of this was still going on. And we didn't know. We were going through rape situations, rendered comatose, unaware of what was taking place. And I'm like, wow, I wasn't aware of this. And then now, I don't know, you ever heard that story, Ratatouille? Or it's like a movie or whatever, where the rat was teaching the man how to cook by pulling his hair and, all this stuff. We're going through situations similar to that. And I expose it to the public, and it's the reason why I expose this stuff, because I'm years and years ahead of my time according to them. A lot of times they're not supposed to know about everything that's going on. The government knows. I think the government is overwhelmed by it. I mean, how do you counter defense such things? But I believe the government will, actually counter it. But man, there is a lot going on. There is stuff that I never even knew was taking place, and then to be awakened to it and try to deal with it with grace takes a lot, because you're hurting. They don't understand how bad you're hurting with what you know, because these people are cool. When you talk about a cool nation, a sick, cool nation, that's these people. When I say sick, they sleep with children, like, fresh out of womb, they don't care how they do things, because they don't believe in women having any virtue. So, before a woman becomes of age, they already have deflowered her. And a lot of people don't know that. So, these women are already defiled before that time. And then you got men that they use to counter certain behaviors, trying to make the woman feel that it's her fault because certain things taking place. It's her fault because she was dressing inappropriate. It's her fault because she sought some vindication. It's her fault because she did what she had to do, and where I'm at in life, I don't sympathize with them. And I think that's where the biggest thing's coming in, because I grow angry real quick because I know what's really happening. They're looking for a sympathy. You cause us men to be defaced, and you cause us men to be this, and you cause us men to be that. Well, let me be real. There's a two sides to hurt, because I started realizing that Adam and Eve's story made a lot of sense to me, because I've been reading, we're on chapter 3 in the Bible, and I'm like reading 4 Bibles at the same time, and as I'm reading it again, it's starting to make more sense to me, because in one Bible it says to me, it says that she saw it and she desired the wisdom without a thought process. And I started to reflect back at my life, and I said, how many times have I been dumbfounded and desired wisdom but didn't have the thought process? And it bothered me, because when you don't have a thought process, this is part of the reason why Adam and Eve didn't know they were naked. It's not that they lacked intellect. It's not that they weren't intelligent. It's the fact that they didn't have the thought process to go with the intel. So here I am, dealing with my demons, and I'm saying to myself, my life was a certain way because I lacked a certain thought process. And that thought process was not a fault of my own, but due to the fact that someone else had attacked me and used what they know against me. So now I'm like, okay, so I was called dumb all these years. Why was I called dumb? Because I lacked a thought process. But now you're waking up to the fact that that lack of a thought process didn't have nothing to do with you. It wasn't from a lack of you trying. It wasn't from your body saying, look, I don't want more. Your body automatically wanted more of whatever to thrive. Your body actually wanted to thrive. Your body actually wanted to grow. Your mind wanted to grow. You wanted to grow. You sought after wisdom. But a process was missing. That was a thought process, and it was blocked intentionally. We're dealing with the times, I teach and everything, and I'm dealing with students that want to learn but are being blocked. How is it? I'm dealing with people that want knowledge and information, but stuff are being blocked. And I think that's part of growing up between the weeds and the tares, because the weed grows quicker than a person in a vegetated state. Because guess what? The person that's not in the vegetated state is able to move, and the person that's in the vegetated state cannot. But guess what? The weed can't move, neither can the vegetable either. But one seems to tend to outgrow the other if allowed to, and not uprooted within a certain time frame. As soon as you see them, your job is to uproot them immediately. But because of a false teaching, because you got to deal with the fact that things have been compromised for quite some time. Things have been attacked that would teach us logic and common sense. I came to the realization that education was under attack, and that there was an ill knowledge that they were teaching in education. And I was like, whoa, hold on. So they're attacking us mentally. That's been going on. But now there's the illusion that it's our issue. It's us. It's not a person attacking. And a lot of times, this is our way of saying, okay, well, you can deal with it. You can overcome it. And sometimes people can't, because we're dealing with actual people wanting enslaved people and possession of people. And they're using technical devices to get that control. Can you imagine living in a community where you have the governmental pillars in place, but they don't do what they're supposed to do. Think about this. You have unemployment, but you never receive unemployment. And if you receive it, you're only going to receive a small amount, like compared to what you're supposed to receive. Can you imagine how devastating that must be? Can you imagine having a place where, okay, they have food stamp assistance, but to get people off of food stamp assistance, they start taking their children from them, raping them off, and abusing them. And this is only way that you don't get raped off and abused if they have complete control over you through you joining certain groups, certain systems, or whatever, or parties, political parties. That's the only way you don't go through that. And you still go through it, but you will be oblivious to it. These are the harsh realities that one deal with. Imagine having a clinic, like a free clinic, that does not offer any services to you whatsoever because you to them have no value. They want you dead anyway. So you have a free STD clinic. You have a free clinic that's supposed to be giving you treatments. You have a free clinic that's supposed to offer you services. And you can't get any services because the people that run this clinic says because you're not a part of what we're doing, you don't get no help because you won't let us control you. Imagine not being able to work for years and years and years and years and years and years. And then being told, okay, well, look, you can either do things the way we want you to do them, or you won't be able to work at all. Never. That's a harsh reality. But certain people are being woke up to these realities every day. Woke up to being raped every day. Trust me, and I'm one person that has been raped. I'm one person that has been awoken to a harsh reality a multitude of times. And not saying that's with everything that you do, but a lot of this stuff shows that, look, we're in bondage. And that long period of time where I remember I would apply for certain jobs, I never got the opportunity to work for them. I would try to do certain things, I never got the opportunity to do it. I wanted to work at the hospital. I'm certified to do certain stuff. Never got a call. Never got a call from the hospital. That's just like, oh well. Toodaloo. We'll pick you up when we feel like it. It is what it is. I wanted to do certain things with technology. Like I'm very into technology, and I started like trying to learn certain stuff. None of that. I remember, and see, a lot of people don't know this. I remember coming home from work tired every day. I mean, I woke up tired. I went to bed tired. Sleepy every day. And what most people didn't understand, that I was actually being drugged. Can you imagine being drugged? Like, actually drugged to the point that you can't even defend yourself. I can't tell you, that same apartment I bought with the stimulus check, I was living in, and one night I heard somebody trying to break into the front door, and it sounded like they had a key, and I'm like, these people shouldn't have a key to my door. They had an actual key to my door, and I remember like as if I was being blanked out. Like I'm sitting up there, I'm laying on the sofa, and I'm hearing this. And next thing I know, I honestly, because I'm like, it kind of scares you. Like, hold up, wait a minute. Shouldn't nobody have the key to this door? Shouldn't nobody be coming through this door right here? And there was a person coming in on me. And I'm like, next thing I know, I was flagged out. I was done for. I didn't wake up until the next morning. I didn't know what was going on. Honestly. And this is terrorist attack on our people. This is some of the stuff that is attacking us, and we know it's attacking us. It's hard for us to tell people the truth, because I already know this morning when I go tell these people the truth about their devices, they're going to look at me and they're going to think I'm lying to them. But at least they can't say they won't run. Well, you know, like I said, I'm just divulging information. Neither here or there. I put it out for the world to know what's really going on, what's really happening, how we sit there oblivious for years and years and years to come, how all this stuff that's supposed to be good, some of it ain't. It is what it is. I'm just talking, getting it off my chest. This is my testament. I'll tell you how I conquer if I ever do. I'll tell you how I didn't conquer if I ever don't. Hopefully these words encourage you. Take care.